Because deep down, every time you dwell on those insecurities, it's a defense mechanism for you to try to then make yourself secure from that insecurity.
Right.
But if you can live in that insecurity and you can accept it for what it is, just like if you can accept every loss as a learning lesson, you nearly look forward to them. You look forward to the revelation, to the revealing of those insecurities so you can finally become secure in them.
Right. Because you change your perception on it. If you don't see it as a loss, then it's not a loss.
That's the point, bro. If you don't see it as trauma, it's not really traumatic. But some of the most traumatic things usually are our most powerful tool to fuel us towards success.
I swear it is.
Nobody quoted that.
Nobody quoted that. Mr. Thompson created that. And that's why I'm not afraid to surround myself around people who are better than me. I come in here, I don't know anything about boxing. I really don't. But I have to be willing to trust you and your expertise for someone who's already gone through it to teach me those things. And I think that we can make our lives easier by even just surrounding ourselves with people who've already done it.
Right.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Literally, you can stand on the shoulders of giants.
There's a slice of pie for everybody.
Literally. There's like 4 quotes right there in them.
You don't have to make mistakes on your own. You can learn from other people's mistakes, right?
They say a wise man or a smart man learns from his own mistakes, but a wise man learns from others.
Right. And you tell me every single time I come in here, you wish you had somebody that would tell you this. You wish you had somebody that could teach you this. So you didn't have to go through all that shit by yourself in order to experience and learn everything. But
since I don't, I'm going to be that motherfucker.
Right.
Simple as that.
And you have to own it. You just have to accept that's what it is.
Simple. Yeah. Bro, there's a certain degree, there's a certain level of victimization that comes with today's mindset, that victimhood mindset, where if you literally just don't say, all right, fuck it, I'm a bitch. I'm in the 21st century. I ain't as strong as my ancestors. But guess what? I'm going to recognize I'm a bitch. I'm going to recognize I'm not as strong as my ancestors. And I'm going to try to be the best that I can be.
Right. What are you going to do about it?
I'm going to try to be as strong as I can be, because at the end of the day, all I can do is try to be the best I can be by identifying how big of a bitch I otherwise could be. Most people don't want to do what, though? Call themselves a bitch. Most people don't want to do what, though? Admit they're imperfect. Most people don't want to do what, though? Feel insecure. Feel uncomfortable. The first thing I teach everybody in here when we learn how to box, one of the first things I taught you,
is learn how to be uncomfortable.
And every time you manifest that insecurity and that uncomfort, what do?
You tell me just to brush it off, just keep moving.
We check it and we tell you the futility of it. Because deep down, every time you dwell on those insecurities, it's a defense mechanism for you to try to then make yourself secure from that insecurity.
Right.
But if you can live in that insecurity and you can accept it for what it is, just like if you can accept every loss as a learning lesson, you nearly look forward to them. You look forward to the revelation, to the revealing of those insecurities so you can finally become secure in them.
Right. Because you change your perception on it. If you don't see it as a loss, then it's not a loss.
That's the point, bro. If you don't see it as trauma, it's not really traumatic. But some of the most traumatic things usually are our most powerful tool to fuel us towards success.
I swear it is.
Nobody quoted that.
Nobody quoted that. Mr. Thompson created that. But at least we can recognize that we are imperfect, and that's how we can keep going. To realize that we're not perfect. So it's okay to make mistakes, and it's cool to try. There's nothing corny or like whack with trying, bro. No one's gonna knock you for trying.
Dude, me and Enza were at trampoline park for her little cousin's, for her stepsister's daughter's birthday. And if we cared about what these adults and kids thought about me and her, 220,
then you wouldn't do anything.
But guess what? We were jumping around that park like children.
You know what it is, bro? People don't want to be criticized. And the only way to not be criticized is to do nothing.
Yeah. So go ahead, do nothing. Don't be criticized. But guess what? Your life will be a byproduct of scarcity and fear. And in a world full of surplus and opportunity, it's shitting on what your ancestors built. You built the opportunity for you to even exist in. And that's how I always look at it. I look at it as not taking advantage of every day is shitting on my ancestors. Simple. Because they sacrificed everything that they had in their being to get us to where we are today. And people who have family who are first generation, like you should really be able to intimately understand this is like, I would be shitting on my parents.
If I did absolutely nothing.
I did absolutely nothing. At the end of the day, as long as you know you're not shitting on your ancestors' effort to get you here, I think you should sleep well at night knowing at least you're trying.
And I do think that being able to do what you want to do, going after pursuing the things that you want to do, is taking advantage of some opportunity.
Yeah.
It might not be what others want, but if you're taking advantage of some opportunity, then I think that, you know, you're not shitting on anyone.
Right.
I think it's just the fact that I don't think that we can excuse laziness anymore. I don't think we can want shit without not doing anything about it. I can't say when people say they want something, they want to live this life, they want to live a certain way, but they're not doing anything about it.
They're not doing anything to manifest and actualize those dreams.
If you're trying, bro, I will support you. I will hype you up. But if you come in here saying, if I came in, Mitchell, I want to be like fucking Mike Tyson by tomorrow. Can you do that for me? But I fucking go home and I go to sleep and I fucking watch TV. You're gonna fucking beat my ass.
I had a client that came in who said, hey, so let me just ask you, if I follow these steps, do you think I can have a six-pack by July? And I literally said, look, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you put an expectation or a date on anything going forward, not only like will you not get that goal, but the mindset of you wanting that end goal will ensure that you nearly get the opposite.
Right.
You'll nearly resent even trying to get that goal because you'll think it's impossible to achieve because of the expectations you put on it. But if you just trust the process, and listen to the fucking words that have been proven to get you to that success, I guarantee you will get that six-pack. It may not be by July, but it'll be when it needs to be based off the effort that you've put in, knowing that as long as I'm putting this effort day to day and I'm following the blueprint, I will eventually get it.
Bro, that's literally what the essence of manifestation is. Discipline and surrender equals flow. If you put in the work, you trust the process, and you surrender and you just let go of the expectations that this is what it has to be, the outcome might be greater than what you expected.
Have you done any like psychedelics?
No, I haven't.
So that's like the biggest principle within enduring psychedelic trips is, what were the two blissful yin yang that you just stated?
I said discipline and surrender.
So you have to literally have the discipline of not freaking out, but also the ability to surrender to the experience, right?
Right.
And I think there's a humbling implication on why psychedelic trips are intentionally like that. Dude, I literally tripped acid for the first time in my basement at the tail end of when I was writing my book. Meaning I was already 2.5 years deep of being isolated.
Yeah.
Guaranteed repressing thoughts, feelings, all this shit, and then took a double-dipped acid tab for the first time ever.
How was your trip?
Oh, God, it was awful. Dude, it was literally, the best way I can describe it is I was falling down a fucking vortex black hole of just insecurity the whole time. And all I could think the whole time was, like, how can I make this end? Because I wasn't surrendering to the experience.
Right. Because you wanted a certain outcome.
Because I wanted to control the experience to get that certain outcome. Control, ego, control.
We feel powerless when we don't have control over situations, but sometimes you just have to surrender it.
You came in here and started boxing. Imagine if you didn't surrender to me telling you how to throw a jab right.
Right.
Goodbye. The fuck out of here. You know how many people I've had to do that come in here? It's like you step into your jab. And then they don't do it. I'm like, why aren't you stepping? I just feel like it's better if I don't. You feel like it's better if you don't. Go teach yourself. You already got the answers. Bye.
Yeah.
See what I mean? They won't surrender because of that ego. They know better. Especially the older you are, the more experience and bias you have built up.
Right.
So it's even harder to surrender.
It's even harder. So I think for you, right, like that acid trip that you took, it was that final moment that you needed to break everything down, right?
I don't know if it was the final. I don't think we ever have final moments.
Okay.
I think if I do a DMT trip, that'll be close to a final moment.
Yeah.
Right? But
Did you feel like
it was a very prominent inflection point for the dissolution of my ego.
Right.
Those words make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. I don't want to just be saying big words. It was a key contributing factor to the dissolution of my ego. Meaning, I'll tell you, without going into the whole situation, I literally was 8 hours face down on my futon, just like tripping, like not being able to open my eyes. Because every time I opened my eyes, like the rush of the dark thoughts and shit came even faster. Like I wasn't really seeing shit.
Yeah.
It was like the speed and tempo at which my internal monologue and my thoughts were rushing past my conscious awareness. And it was just like, oh, remember when you did this? Oh, you did this too because of that. Oh, and then this and that. And it was like non-fucking stop. This vortex for 8 hours. It was insanity, bro. And by the time 9, 10 hours starts coming around, I took it at 10 o'clock. Around 6, 7 in the morning. Literally, I imagine if I was raised a different way or if this would have went worse, I could have had like a schizophrenic break. But I'm sitting there literally like my head is fucking rushing with thoughts and shit. And I'm walking up the stairs. I'm literally I'm from the basement. Remember, I was isolated. The worst part about this is I was isolated for 2 years alone, bro.
Yeah.
All those thoughts, feelings that I had to repress and put to the side for the sake of my sanity were all coming out during this trip. And I wasn't aware of it at the time. I was just tripping.
That sounds awful.
Bro, I'm walking up the stairs fucking tripping. I'm just like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I don't know how much longer this is going to be, but this is fucking off. And I look off as I'm walking up the stairs. The sun's rising. And I just see my mom snuggled up, huddled up on the couch. And as I literally went from freaking the fuck out and I saw that image, it literally was like looking at an angel. And it was the security I needed for that extremely heightened, insecure state.
You have to realize what it took for you to get to that point. I
Right.
think we all just want the outcome, but we're not ready to accept everything that comes with it.
Like being stuck in an insanity loop for 8 hours straight.
Right.
Bro, that's why like experiences like that, experiences like being sick, like I just was, they remind you and they ground you for how blessed you are to even have a sober, conscious train of thought that can get you through the day, let alone get you through a day that you have the choice to make the best day possible because you were born in America or in the 21st century in a Western state, in a Western world where you don't have to experience third world poverty-stricken conditions like nearly all of humans had to for all of human history. Yeah, bro, that acid trip was a big inflection point. But last night or these past 3 days, guess what? That to me was another considerably measurable inflection point for a rehumbling of my dissolved ego in appreciating something as little as just being healthy day to day.
Right.
Because that gastroenteritis bullshit or food poisoning, whichever one I had, I don't even want to lay in my bed tonight. Like I'll probably edit this video all night because I can.
Right.
Because I get to.
You get to.
Not because I have to.
And you realize that those experiences may have shaped you, but they don't define you.
They don't define
you
me,
are.
no. That's why all the negative shit people can say about me from when I was younger, when I was still immature and I was in my adolescent immaturity, it's like, yeah, those were my actions, but they don't define who I am.
Because we have the ability to change.
Because my current actions and my current efforts nearly redefine and substantiate that change.
And we got to realize that most of us don't have to go through something as extreme as you did to get to those points.
You don't have to go through an acid trip. You don't have to be in isolation for 3 years. You don't have to be homeless. You don't have to write a book and have it fail because it didn't sell 1 million copies. Like you don't have to do none of that shit. But if you do something relative to yourself that allows you to face adversity and then overcome it, you'll realize those are the small dubs you were talking about at the very beginning that accumulate into giant victories.
Absolutely.
Those small battles end up turning in to the accumulative successes that win you the war.